Now, those were in my young years. Now, other than family, you know, those were some of the key people. I imagine I could think of some more, but between Bessie Jackson, Charles Wesley Shipman, my pastor, Reverend William Unistoff Gardner, who was a Morehouse graduate and an Army captain. He was a stern, firm, authoritarian figure, but he loved me. And I remember being in Morehouse, and I was not necessarily a clergy person at that time. He came back, and he had heard about my exploits down at Morehouse. He kept track. And I went in his office. He said, "Butch, you're a fool." I said, "Doc, Reverend Gardner." He said, "Straighten up." He said, "You got your religious merit badge here, and you're down there running the street and acting crazy." And part of that was because of partying activities, and the other was because of social activism. I'd gotten very involved with the election of Horace Tate, well, with the campaigning of Horace Tate. I'd gone down to Orangeburg after the massacre and had been very involved in People Ready in Defense of Ebony Pride. He'd heard that I'd been involved in some of the raucous activities after the assassination of Dr. King. So he was not necessarily pleased with those kinds of things. He was in that Mayesian tradition, you know. And Dr. Mays, however, was encouraging. Dr. Mays said, "Some of these things you need not do." He said, "But one of the things I'd like for you to do is get in a car and travel to the churches in the white community on Sunday morning and see if they're still segregated." And so a friend of mine named Julius Stevens and I got in his car and we rode around and we visited the churches, and we had to report to him that they are or were at that time still segregated. And for that he put me in his book, and I'll be eternally grateful, Dr. Bays, wherever you are. But Dr. Benjamin, well, not in my, well, in my college years, and then I could go on and talk about others.